This video is a continuation of my previous video. It's another extract from the 7-hour phone call. I chose to tackle it separately because it is a somewhat more distressing topic. Whilst there are no graphic descriptions, if you feel it may be triggering for you to listen to a discussion about head trauma, then it's okay to click off and skip this video. I will also mention here that part of the discussion includes Megan talking about the death of her brother. I know that there'll be a backlash from me touching on this, but firstly, this is not new information to us. We've heard Megan bring it up on countless occasions. Most importantly, though, I believe it adds important context to Megan's insistence that head trauma of some sort did play some part in Kiely's death. I am going to ask that people treat this information with respect. I realise there are many people right now, myself included, who are angry over Megan's most recent callous, nasty words and actions. But I don't believe we should stoop to her level. Megan makes herself look bad with her nastiness. Let's remember Kiely and not allow ourselves to be influenced by evil people.
What if she hit her head on the top of the car? Knocked her out.
I don't know.
I mean, that's the easy side. That's the easiest side of it. She's like, oh shit, what do you do? What do you do? The first thing you're going to do to try to get up, to get out of the water. You're going to stand up as tall as you can to get out of the water. She hits her head as hard as she can, and then cold water hits her.
This makes zero sense whatsoever. Okay, if she was in the driver's seat, she would have been almost physically incapable of standing up. Picture yourself sitting in the driver's seat. Your legs are in front of you under the console. You're still going to find it physically impossible in something the size of a Honda CR-V to actually stand up. Likewise, if, as Megan suggests, she was sleeping in the rear cargo area of her vehicle, first of all, you would need to sleep on your side in order to fit your legs in without sitting with your legs up in the air. So the moment that you move, your legs or your arms are going to hit part of the vehicle. You're going to remember that you're lying on your side in the back of the vehicle. You're not going to be able to stand up and hit your head. Also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the only way you could give yourself a concussion inside a vehicle would be to hit your head on something with a solid edge. So on the edge of a window, or on a steering wheel, or on the door frame. None of which would be overly likely were she either sitting in the driver's seat or lying in the back of the car. And certainly you'd need the added force from some kind of impact before hitting your head on the steering wheel, for example, would do more than feel a little bit sore.
She goes into shock. She can't do anything. She doesn't know where she's at. She's dead in a minute.
But the autopsy doesn't support that.
We all know the autopsy's not right.
Okay, I will point out that this recording was done over a year ago, and we've learned a lot more since then, so that even Shan will now admit that there is a suggestion from looking at the autopsy that there could have been head trauma. There was discoloration noted. This could have been simply due to lividity, as in due to blood settling on whichever side she was lying on. But it also could be indicative of an injury. Shan is right, however, in saying that the scenario that Megan put forward is impossible.
The autopsy supports one of two things. Okay?
What if she knocked herself out?
Just listen to me. One, she died before she ever went into that water.
Okay.
I
What if
was
she
wait.
what if she died in her car before she went out because she knocked herself out?
She is hell bent on the scenario of Kiely knocking herself out.
Just like my brother did, falling down the stairs and hit the right spot and died instantly.
But from the video, like literally,
My brother didn't have any. My brother, when he died, I can go get to the autopsy. He had a scrape on the back of his head that was this thick,
yeah,
and it was from right here, and it was right down there, and it was the back of the head.
yeah,
And if you hit it just right, it's that little bump on the back of your head.
yeah.
His
That's
he
what I
died.
busted. That's my scar here.
So when he fell down and hit the back of it, that's where the scrape came from. He had a brain swell, shaken baby syndrome, hit him right away.
Yeah, 'cause I mean that's. Ugh.
He went 3 feet into the wall.
But that's what I'm saying. There's no jolt or jerk that would have caused Kiely to knock
If she
herself
if
out.
she stands up though, and she's trying to get out,
No,
and she hits
no.
her, what if she hits the window? She could have just because her
There's
brain didn't
no.
her brain could have swollen. They can't ever say that. Shaken baby.
No.
This is, of course, a somewhat sensitive part of the discussion, and I have removed some of the details that were given. I also don't want to linger too much on this part of the conversation. However, I find it interesting that she is sticking with the idea of fatal head trauma, but I think it would take someone with more knowledge and experience than me to unpack whether this is a trauma response to her own loss or if she does in fact know something more that she's not telling us. I will, however, point out that there have been several occasions when talking about Kiely's death has caused a major trauma response in Megan. And for those individuals who feel the need to come at me for mentioning Megan's brother, I will point out that she has brought him up herself on multiple occasions. She has also on multiple occasions gone with the idea of Kiely having some sort of head trauma and dying because of that, which she connects with her brother. Basically, Megan herself made her brother part of the narrative when it comes to Kiely.
There would be. This is what I'm trying to say to you.
I understand. I get what you're trying to say. But I've been here. This is why I got so pissed.
There's
I
no
just
water.
But
Okay.
the water. Oh wait, but if you go
Everything.
back and look at wait, if you go back and look at Xanavay's Zav Girls Live, there's they said in the tongue in the area right here there's white things. I don't know what they're called. They said it, and those were a little bit
nodes.
higher than they should have been. But they can't, huh? Saliva or whatever, the saliva. So without having any saliva, because if she was, so therefore they wouldn't be able to tell if she's inhaled water. She could have dry drowned.
Actually, they can tell if she inhaled water. Her lungs would have been waterlogged and would have weighed a lot more. There also would have been a somewhat significant amount of water in her stomach. It seems here that Megan has struggled to understand the conversation regarding the autopsy, but has still tried to use it to support her argument, even though she doesn't understand it and therefore can't explain what her argument actually is.
No.
She would have dry drowned because she's in the water. She's panicking. She has a panic attack. What if she had a panic attack?
That's the thing, is all of the doctors, all the pathologists that I've listened to, they say that there is no possible way for dry drowning because there would be froth, okay? So...
She frothed. There was froth. She puked.
No. It was,
she puked.
No, but that's the thing. That's what the doctors are trying to explain to you, that there's a difference between the froth and the vomit. They're not the same thing.
Okay. No, I get it. I still don't understand why she got, that's been my biggest problem. How did she get in the water and how did she die in the water? The only thing was that she could have drowned.
She didn't die in the water, is my point.
There are 3, I think, videos done by Dra Latina which pull apart the autopsy and they explain precisely why Kiely did not drown. I'll add a link for Dra Latina's channel in the description for this video.
I think she hit her head and knocked herself out.
I actually find it to be of huge significance that Megan can't drop the idea that Kiely's death occurred as a result of her hitting her head, particularly given that this is in keeping with the belief, which many people have, that there was a fight between Kiely and Sammy.
I don't know. I can't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. But it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was a cover up from day one.
Mm-hmm.
She was already dead.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you look at it, she's already dead in the water. So why for 15 days did they make everybody search the whole entire place when my witness right there says she's right there in the water? Not once, not twice, but 3 times says she'll take him to the spot.
So contextually, where she's saying that she was already dead in the water, I should point out that this is her selling her narrative about the person seeing the car lights going into the reservoir. Technically, she's not saying that Kiely was dead before she went in the water. However, I can't help wondering, given the phrasing of it, if perhaps there is some leakage here and she is actually admitting, without realising that she's admitting, that Kiely was in fact already deceased when that vehicle went in the water. I also, like many other people, am fairly confident that Kiely's car did not go into the water on the night of the party, which says that Megan's narrative about the girl at the shop saying that she saw the headlights is actually fabricated. And there will be a video coming very soon about that.
But when I talked to Philip's mom,
But
Philip,
Philip and Evan are always together.
they're always together. And Philip sat at home with his mom crying over this because they have Sam's lizards at their house. And so they inherited 2 lizards. And they've sat there
because they know.
No, they've sat there for 3 days trying to figure out if it was suicide or not.
First of all, here, it seems like Megan is determined to push any sort of narrative that she can that is going to absolve Sammy of any responsibility. But also, I'm curious, she has said so many times that Evan doesn't like her and that she hasn't had many conversations with him. So how does she know all this crap? Given her reputation as the town gossip, surely Evan's mum wouldn't have shared this with Megan, and we can be pretty damn sure that Evan wouldn't have done so himself.
It's not suicide.
They couldn't figure it out because that's what they first put out. Why would he tell his mom?
That's why the sleepy picture is there. Somebody did something sinister to this little girl, I'm telling you. I don't think
it was. But I don't know that it was.
Note how all of a sudden she's bumbling around really badly, trying to come up with an alternative to Shan's suggestion that something nefarious has happened. And as for her next comment, well, it's interesting.
How do we know it's not just some bum?
Because we know.
Convenient, isn't it, Megan? So around this time, the bum was making videos pointing out a lot of Megan's lies and inconsistencies. So how does she respond? Oh, how do we know it wasn't some bum? Oh, which bum?
Or some person. How do we know when the fight? Why did the fight happen? Why did the fight happen at the front?
I don't know. Like, why did that fight happen?
Why did they block it off? They were fighting and someone else jumped on the hood. They were all jumping on the hoods. They all came in shirtless. They weren't from Truckee. These kids weren't from Truckee. The ones that showed up weren't from Truckee.
I have a problem with this part of the narrative. On one hand, all the tense is correct and agrees. But if you have a look at the research that people have done, particularly Kenny, the damage to the hood of Kylie's car appears to almost definitely be from the tray of another vehicle. The damage is not from people jumping on the car. It also seems convenient that these people were apparently from out of town. I think we should note here that during the search, someone found window glass somewhere along Boca Road between Prosser and Boca. So it is possible that something occurred where people did do damage to Kylie's car, and perhaps they were jumping in Kylie's car. But it simply adds to another part of the mystery of what really happened that night at the party. If there were people jumping on the car, I still believe that this does not absolve Sammy Smith in any way, and I suspect that this may not have been the direct cause of Kylie's death, particularly when you take into account the amount of times that Megan mentioned that she thought that Kylie died because of some sort of head trauma, and her insistence on it.